Hello viewers, welcome once again to your favorite channel, Israeli Math Concept. In this tutorial, I will teach you how to solve a given indicial question of this kind, which involves multiplication and division as its operation. So many students do find it difficult to solve a given indicial problem of this form, which involves the operation of multiplication and division respectively. But in the course of this video, you will learn how to solve a given problem of this form. Remember, if today is your first time of viewing, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. You can as well follow me on Facebook so that whenever I drop a new math content of this kind, you would be notified. Let's read out the question first of all. The question says, simplify in bracket 4 over 25 all raised to the power of negative half multiplied by 2 raised to the power of 4 divided by in bracket 15 over 2 all raised to the power of negative 2. Let's go ahead to solve this problem. Remember the first thing first, for you to be able to solve a given question of this form, which involves indices, you are required to recall your laws of indices properly. So when we have 4 over 25 raised to the power of negative half, it can still be put as the reciprocal of 4 over 25 all raised to the power of the positive value of half. Remember the law of indices that says that whenever you have a given base raised to the power of a negative value, it is the same thing as taking the reciprocal of that very base raised to the power of the initial power of 2. That sounds very simple. Whenever you have a base value raised to the power of any number at all, just take the reciprocal or the inverse of that given base raised to the original power you are given. So that is exactly what I applied here. So I have 4 over 25 raised to the power of half. So I break it as 1 over 4 over 25 raised to the power of positive value of half. Alright, then multiplied by, we have 2 raised to the power of 4, then divided by, the same thing I did for here, I can also do for here. So I have the reciprocal of 15 all over 2, all raised to the power of positive 2. That is exactly the law of indices I just put down here. Alright, let's solve further. Here we have 1 all over. Remember that this 4 over 25 raised to the power of half can still be put as the square root of 4 over 25. That sounds very simple. Remember the law of indices that says whenever you have a given base all raised to the power of half, it is the same thing as taking the square root of that base number, a. That is exactly what I applied here. I have 4 over 25 raised to the power of half, so I had to take the square root of 4 over 25. Then multiplied by, remember 2 raised to the power of 4 is the same thing as saying 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2 into 4 places, and 2 multiplied by 2 is 4, and 4 multiplied by 2 is 8, and 8 multiplied by 2 is 16. So here I have that 2 raised to the power of 4 is the same thing as 16. Then divided by, I also have here 1 over, remember 15 squared is the same thing as 15 multiplied by 15. That is the meaning of 15 squared. 15 multiplied by 15. Let's multiply out. 5 times 5 is 25. We write 5 and borrow 2. 5 times 1 is 5 plus this 2, we have 7. 1 multiplied by 5 is 5, and 1 multiplied by 1 is 1. Then I have 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. I write 2 and borrow 1. Then adding this 1 to the 1 we have here, we have 2. Hence 15 raised to the power of 2 is the same thing as 15 multiplied by 15, which we've solved to get 225. So here we have 225 all over. Remember that 2 raised to the power of 2 is the same thing as 2 multiplied by 2, and 2 multiplied by 2 will give us 4. So I have that 2 raised to the power of 2 as well is 4. So solving further, I have 1 over Remember that the square root of 4 is 2 divided by the square root of 25 is 5. Then multiplied by, I have 16, then divided by, let me group these ones. Remember that 1 over 225 over 4 can still be put as 1 divided by 225 over 4. So everything we have here can still be put as this. 1 divided by 225 over 4. Okay, let's solve further. Also, I can still put this in bracket as 1 divided by 2 over 5, right? Multiplied by, I have 16 divided by, in brackets, here I have 1. Changing division to multiplication, I have to invert. Inverting means to turn up the fraction. Then 4 will come up now, and 225 will come below. So solving further here, I have 1 divided by 2 over 5 as 1 multiplied by 5 over 2. That means I turn this division to multiplication, hence I have to invert the fraction 2 over 5 to become 5 over 2. Then multiplied by, we have 16 divided by, in brackets, remember that 1 is the same thing as 1 over 1, because any number divided by 1 is still that number. Hence 1 multiplied by 4 will still give us 4, and that is divided by 1 multiplied by 225 is still 225. Okay, then solving further as well, we have 1 as the same thing as 1 over 1, such that 1 multiplied by 5 is still 5, divided by 1 multiplied by 2 is still 2, and that is multiplied by our 16. Remember, we can change division to multiplication and then we invert this fraction. And inverting it means to turn it upside down. The 225 will come up, and that is all over 4. Remember, 2 can divide itself to the 1, and 2 can divide 16 to the 8, and as well 4 can divide itself to the 1, and 4 divide 8 will give us 2. Hence I have 5 multiplied by 2 is 10, and 10 multiplied by 225 will simply give us 2250. So here is our answer. So our answer therefore is equal to 2250. This is exactly how to solve a given indicial problem of this form. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel and as well to reshare this video if you found this video to be useful. Thank you and see you next time. Goodbye.